What's going on, folks? What has happened on this awesome Saturday night in Detroit, Michigan? Well, with me, it's been kind of just a lazy day, just chilling, relaxing. Um, Actually, that's not true at all. It's been kind of a lazy day in my eyes, but I've been just going through a bunch of stuff uh, as far as shows and upcoming events and past shows and just a lot of stuff that's happening not only here but in New York, and not only in New York but upcoming events that are going to be happening. Some of them are for months away, but just trying to get things in order. Not only that, there's a lot of things happening right here in this studio that big changes are going to be happening. I'm really hoping within the next week or so at the longest, hopefully, and going to be making some changes. Probably going to be adding another camera, possibly some lighting, as well as cosmetic stuff as well, to make it a lot more better, comfortable, both comfort wise and uh, very easy on the eyes as for a studio. For those of you who maybe have never been in a studio, so I know before I ever did a show, I was just like everyone else who's never been in a studio. You see what you see on TV, which is a set, and if it's like what would be considered a podcast would be like a news media, social media, your local news, or like these nightline sets or stuff like that where they show the host doing their thing. Um, and for me, when I first started seeing this or started doing it, I remember walking into the first actual professional studio in Port Huron, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is, this going to be, for some reason, I had this preconceived notion that it was going to be this beautiful building. I was going to walk into this, all marble, entry and these, all these professional, the desks and lighting and just all this stuff for whatever, why, I don't have no idea why I thought that, but I just did. And I remember pulling up to this building, and it was just this old, much older building, and it was in like a little strip mall, and it was very small. And I remember walking in and walked in the door, and it was like just a couple steps down, and there were like these four women that were in this small area. They had their four desks in this small area. Very, very nice, very pleasant. And just off to the side. One thing I learned about studios is everything is very condensed. Not all, obviously. I'm just saying what I saw firsthand and what I thought and what I actually saw. How you doing, Caleb? Thanks for popping on here with us. And so I walk in there, and first of all, just nervous as hell. It was my first in studio. It got me right back at you, man. Right back at you. Um, so I'm looking around, and I meet the production manager. I met the sound manager, the producer, the editor, the camera guys, the different people that were all part of this. The sales team. I mean, everyone that was there, I got to meet them. So I'm walking around this place, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go into the studio, and it's going to be this, glamorous studio with everything. And, and I walk in, and it was, again, fairly small. And I noticed a lot of stuff just propped up against walls. There were like desktops that were propped up against one wall. There was a table full of like knickknacks that you would find, um, like sitting on a table for, like coffee mugs, picture frame, just stuff that you would put on like a desk setting to make it more comfortable, more soothing to the eyes if you have it. And so I'm looking around, and then I notice these like four or five big cameras, cables all over the place, and a fairly small area. And for me at that time, it was only myself and the host, so it's just 2 chairs set up, and, yeah, it was really insane. But then again, for me, I'm just for anyone else, I was just like anyone else who's never seen one. You're used to seeing like a TV from the 2 backwards, so you're seeing the host, the guest, the backdrop. You're seeing, what they want you to see. And, next thing I know, they were doing another show, so within minutes, they just popped this tabletop off, threw it over against the wall, put another different shaped tabletop on, grabbed this, they had, like, tacks up on the wall, threw like, in the one occasion, it was, like, a couple paintings up for a backdrop on the one setting, and it was the same set, but just different cosmetic stuff. So I was just like, "Wow." So it's just a learning experience, and it was very, very cool. So my studio here that I'm in right now in Detroit is, set up. You always see myself, and when OG's here, we're working in a studio. She's actually off to my left here is off to, her setup with the mic headsets, the headset, the mics, and the lighting and everything is set up for her, and that's it. There's the one camera on me, one camera on her, or whoever it'll be. If guests were to come in, at this point, which we're not doing because the way it's set up right now is basically for virtual, for doing, sending the StreamYard links to people and doing it the way we have been doing it. When I'm in New York at our studio, they're doing it. We've got a 3 camera setup. We've got it's a smaller room, but it's very spacious because you don't have like for me, I've got these big tables. I've got it's not being the things aren't being utilized the way they should be. So with all that being said, all I should have just said is there's going to be some changes because I'm going to be changing the studio to do both in-person shows as well as continuing what we're doing here because there's a lot of people in the Detroit metropolitan area who have been wanting to come on, and I mean a lot. And I will never ever put shit product out there just to put content out there. I've had people, many different people that are hosts of shows. I've had many other different producers saying, just you got to keep putting more out there, put more and more and more. The more content you put out there, the more you're on, the better it's going to be. And that is good for getting your face, your name, your brand, what you're doing out there. Of course, I get it. You want to keep, my fight our war. You want to keep that name out there. You want to keep what our mission is out there. Myself as a host and the creator of this, you want, to be associated with your brand. I get it. But that being said, I will never compromise this family. I will never compromise this passion that I never knew I had before doing podcasts, doing shows until I started doing it. So no, that will never be compromised. I went almost 2, 3 months, maybe a little more, doing absolutely no shows because I was having some issues with a lot of different things, and I wasn't happy with the way different things were going. And I made a choice not to do anything um, for that reason. So things got taken care of, things got organized, and bam, we took off like wildfire. What we're going to be doing now is, like I said, we're going to be adding another camera. We're going to be adding some more lighting that's needed. We're going to be condensing the equipment, the stuff that is taking up a lot of space will be taken care of, and it'll be an honor for me to walk future guests into the studio to present it with pride. And that's everything that has to do with my fight our war is nothing but pride and admiration for each and every person who's part of this amazing family. And I will never, ever compromise anything less than the best for everybody who's part of this family. Um, I owe it to you. I owe it to myself because this is something I absolutely love. So that is 10 minutes and 7 seconds of your life that you'll never get back of me just blah, blah, blah. Diarrhea of the mouth, man. Just kept running and running. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's been going on today. Trying to get different things set up, checking into cameras, checking into light, checking into equipment, checking into cosmetic chairs, tables, different mic stands, stuff that I never in a million years thought that I would be doing. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Um, Along with that, still keeping up with guests who are coming on, which we are. I am so happy and I'm so blessed to be able to say that we are absolutely slammed with guests coming on our show, which is every Monday at 7 p.m. ish Eastern time. We have our guests come on. Sheila, how you doing? How you doing? But why didn't have to? Okay, I'm not sure on that, Sheila. Um, but I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, Mondays. Like I said, every Monday at promptly 7 p.m. ish Eastern time, we are continuing to have different guests come on to share their stories. And that has just taken off like wildfire. And those of you who've been following us for a while, those of you who've been watching the show, know that that's one thing I've always been promoting is listen, man, if you've got a story, if you want to put your story, your testimony out there, and then that's great, man. That's why we're here. We're here for people to let you know, man, you are not alone. And you will never be alone with My Fight Our War here. We are here for you to support you, motivate you, appreciate you 100% as a person, no matter what it is. You will never be judged. You will never be looked down on. You will never be, um, there will be no shaming. I mean, we are here as a family for support, love, motivation, and when needed, that well placed kick in the ass, which we all need some from time to time. But when we first started, I remember, I mean, every show. Hey, listen, man, if you want to come on the show, please hit OG up because I'm not allowed to do it anymore. Anything with scheduling, I'm no longer allowed to do because I get so excited about doing it. I mean, people will be contacting me wanting to, it goes both ways to come on the show as guests. But then when I run into trouble, is when I get contacted to be a guest on other people's shows and their platforms because I'm like, definitely, I'm in. I'll do it. And then all of a sudden I'll get hit up like either later on in that same show with a message or email asking to be on another show. And yes, I'll do it. And this so on and so on. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, OG, we're I'm scheduled to do a show this day, this day, this day, this day. And she's just like, man, listen, don't do anything anymore ever again. That's my job. She goes, first of all, you double booked yourself twice. And not only did you double book yourself on more than one occasion, you actually said yes to doing shows while we are flying. We will be in the air. No, you can't. So I have had my scheduling privileges taken away. And she does that, and that's her job. And she does it very well. But again, the whole point of that was, I mean, I was constantly just during shows, at the beginning of shows, at the end of shows. Listen, man, if you want to come on the show, and there was a while there where we would have one person on a month. I mean, the invite has always been there, and it always will be there. Um, But what was happening is just a lot of people um, were wanting to come on, but then had second thoughts. Maybe we're getting a little bit of cold feet, a little nerves. I mean, it is a lot. And for people who have never done shows, never done social media, podcasts, or anything like that, um, it's really hard to explain it unless you do it. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone will tell you how they felt about doing it. Um, because for one, I go live all the time. So you've got that in play. You're going live, and it's not just me and the person and your neighbor. This is social media, live on Facebook. We're going around the world. So hopefully there's a lot of people watching us. So yeah, some people get very nervous, and sometimes there could be dead air just because of that. And then again, don't forget we are talking about some very personal issues, very personal stories that in some cases our own family and our own friends don't even know about us. And we are sharing them with our amazing family and the rest of the world. So, to that, I commend you all and I thank you. But make sure that this is something that you want to do because it's something you want to do. I've had people come on, um, and I can tell a lot of times just in talking with them before we go live is they just in their attitude, their mannerisms, where it's just like, you know what, why did you decide to do this? And I'll ask them questions. And on a lot of occasions, I'll have people say, well, a family member said that I needed to do this, that this would help me in this aspect of my life. This would help me feel better. But it was other people telling people what to do with their lives, what to do with their personal stories. And to that, I said, no, you know what? I'm not saying we're not going to do it. All I'm saying is let's just wait and let's just talk a little bit more um, to make sure this is what you want and it's not what your family wants you to do. It's not something your friends want you to do, because when it comes down to it, this is your life, your story, and it's very personal, and it could be very and it is very painful at points during the story to tell it. So that's another thing. So to everyone who's been on this show or any show, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for coming out, sharing your story, for one, to help yourself grow, to help yourself heal, but even more so to help other people who are battling. Um, I've said it many times. Our words are so powerful, so powerful. Um, I've had many guests come on that think, you know what, my story's not going to really. It's not that intense. It doesn't have all the drama or the violence or the anger or this or that. It doesn't have all these components that are going to like the shock and awe. But you know what it has? It has your story. It has what affected you. And some of the things that you say, you would be so amazed. The people who are watching all of a sudden are like, I know exactly what that person's talking about. I've had those same feelings. Now you caught them. Now you got their attention. Now you got that person listening to what helped you cope with different situations. So trust me, our words matter. Our words are very powerful. And but again, we need to be very careful how we use them too, because not only are they powerful in a positive way, words have been used against people dealing with addiction and mental health issues that can be very hurtful um, in a very negative way. So again, these are all just things that I've learned as I have been doing these shows, and I learn every day. But so it is important for me because I want this studio here to be very comfortable for when the guests do come in. First and foremost, if you have a very relaxed setting, um, and I mean, even right now, I mean, it's fine for what we do. It's more than fine. Um, but fine's not enough. I want more. I always expect a lot more from myself. I expect a lot more from the people that are part of this amazing team. Um, they do great. OG is incredible with what she does as the admin running things here. Matt Crota is our producer in New York, does amazing things as well. The people who are helping in New York, the different people out there who are helping with different guests. I mean, they're the people who are doing a lot of the work behind the scenes. It's amazing, and the help is so much appreciated. But I remember when I first started doing this stuff. Uh, I remember talking to some of the other hosts who are very very well known in this industry, and I remember hearing them say how extremely busy they were and how much work goes into this. And as the newbie, as the new guy, I was just like, work. I mean, how much work could it be? You're sitting in a chair, um, talking. Woo, it's not like you're out in the street swinging a sledgehammer for 8, 10, 12 hours a day doing construction. It's not like any of these other manual labor jobs. So I didn't understand what, I kept hearing, how busy and how tiring and this and that until by the grace of God, my fighter war started to pick up steam. Um, and for me coming on as much as I do, um, started to get more notoriety, which is huge. And it's not an ego thing. It's something that's needed because as a host of a show, you're if no one has a clue who you are, anything about you, know nothing about your personality, um, you're not long for this industry. And that's another learning process that I jumped into right away. I am a quick study, so there was a few things that I learned right off the bat that has helped me, and it's very appreciated. So we're doing that as well as getting ready for upcoming shows. This coming Monday, we have Jeremy Ross coming on as our guest this Monday. It's 7 p.m. ish Eastern time. So please join us for our show Monday with Jeremy. And thank God for Jim Jim Leibel over at Talking Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast. Uh, Jim and I have been going back and forth as far as our shows, and Jim has just got a great platform over there at his show, his podcast, and we were going back and forth about what we do, and we're both going to be doing each other's shows. So of course, there's me. Yep, no problem, Jim. Let's do it. Well, I must have forgotten to tell OG because the other day I was going to get a message from Jim saying, "Okay, man, just wanted to check in about our show on Sunday." To which I was like, "What? Oh, sure as shit." I backtracked, and yes, we have a show. So I am very blessed to and honored to be on Jim's show, Talking Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast, and that will air tomorrow night at. We're doing a pre-show and like the green room stuff at 8 o'clock Eastern time for me. So I believe that we are going to probably be going live at 9 p.m. Um, Eastern time, which will be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which I believe the gym is for their show. So please check us out tomorrow. Show some love for Jim and Talking Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast, as well as when him and his crew come on our show as well. So that'll be tomorrow. Again, 9 p.m. Shit. 7:38. I believe it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time. But just keep an eye out for us because we're going to be live with Talking Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast. Monday, Jeremy Ross will be our special guest on My Fight Our War, promptly at 7 p.m. ish Eastern time on Monday. Wednesday, of course, can't forget Wednesday because it's going to be myself and my brother Skylar Ray. as we do music and mayhem. And since we are talking about my brother Skylar Ray, right now he is uh, right now him and Kayla are performing. Performing, you may ask? Yes, they are. They are doing a show at this is part of their Road to Recovery tour, and they are performing at Another Chance Rehab Center, and that's in Portland, Oregon. It is at 211 Northeast 18th Avenue, and you can't beat it. It is free. So please, if you're in the area with my brother, with Skylar and Kayla, you don't want to miss this. It's free. You can't beat that. And to get in and see them at no charge is a gift. So please show my brother and Kayla some love. Speaking of showing some love, there's my man Jeremy, who is going to be our special guest on Monday. Monday, 7 p.m. ish Eastern time. Eastern, not Easter. Eastern. Um, we'll be going live with Jeremy, and this is going to we'll be doing a couple shows because I did talk with Jeremy. Oh, these days are blending. Yesterday, I had to think when I talked to you, Jeremy, and I know it was yesterday. And I stop losing my voice here too. But talked with Jeremy yesterday, and we've got a lot in common. For one, huge one is we are both bikers. We are bikers, man. We've rode in MCs, and he is riding in the MC currently, and we will discuss that. That's his story to tell, and his alone. So that'll be discussed tomorrow, as well as his story and everything that is going on with Jeremy. So definitely look forward to that. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. My Fight Our War special guest, Jeremy Ross. Jeremy, looking forward to it, my man. And again, talking trash tomorrow with Jim over at Addiction Recovery Podcast. Throughout the week, we have a bunch of stuff, just different shows that are popping up with some of the guests that I had in New York. Rod Yarber was a guest on about a month or two ago when I was in New York, who was so cool because his story, it's Rob does it all, man, is basically what he goes by. And he went from being this dude who was just working, regular jobs to all of a sudden, as we're talking, because I love that shock and awe stuff too. I don't like to get the whole backstory. Um, on the guests, and here, here we are talking about Dutch Harbor. As soon as he said Dutch Harbor, I was like, get out of here. I know all about Dutch Harbor because that was a show that I watch, and a lot of you, if you watch Discovery Channel, know what I'm talking about. That is The Deadliest Catch. And why is that meaningful? Because he did it. There's a few guys who go on that famous walkway there right in the harbor, in Dutch Harbor. I can't remember the name of the bars, but that's where you'll hear these stories of these guys who are the greenhorns in waiting, who are sitting there waiting for a boat. And then you'll hear these stories, and you'll see the ones on the Discovery Channel who have absolutely zero experience, but they see the payday, which is insane. The money you get for a short period of time. There's one small thing. You got to live to collect it, right? We're talking 50-foot waves, 50-foot waves on these crab boats. And it's insane. Like I said, I've watched this show for years. And so here, lo and behold, we're talking, and Rob did it. So we've been talking back and forth. He moved out to Norway, just decided to be something I'm going to do. I think I'm going to change jobs. I know I'm going to move to Norway. And his show, if you please go check us out, go to My Fight or War on YouTube. Check out the show we did with Rob, and you'll see what I mean. Then you can flip over to TikTok and you can see the shorts and stuff that are of Rob and see exactly what I mean as far as what he has done. It's insane. It really is. So we are possibly, it's not for sure yet, maybe doing a show on Tuesday. There's so many different shows that are all ready, all have been penciled in here. There, I mean, I'm very well organized here, all over here. I mean, I've got what people have their organization. Mine's known as OG. Um, they have different files and all that. Mine is known as an organized mess, which is basically scattered all over the place. So that's my organizational skills, which is zero. But that's about it. I had some time. I had to kind of take a breath and relax a little bit from. I had to relax from my relaxing, which makes absolutely no sense. I know, but being out there, just had some dinner, and I was just constantly going over show prep for the upcoming shows, going over previous shows that I've done, and the guests who are involved in upcoming events that I'm doing, shows that are being done out of state that we are doing certain things at their events. So there's so now when I hear people say how busy they are doing shows, doing podcasts. Now I've graduated to that part of the class where it's like, oh, now I know what you guys are talking about. And you know what? It's an honor. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It is an honor to be able to say that because that means that myself, OG, and everyone else in his family are doing something right because people are taking notice of what we're doing, and that's because of all you guys, and it's so much appreciated. Like I said, Caleb, Sheila, Jeremy, and whoever else may be on, sending love your way, guys. I really appreciate it, and that's it. Really do really appreciate all of the support. And we are going to continue to grow between both studios. We do have a lot going on too with Coach Tony, um, Anthony Morrissey, who has an amazing foundation, which is the Brian Carroll Brothers and Sisters Foundation, which I had the honor of having Coach on a show this past trip to New York, and his the show was about unfortunately losing his son because of addiction, and the story that we were able to hear about that tragic loss and what has happened since then with the forming of the Brian Cody Brothers and Sisters Foundation and the people who have been helped because of it is just amazing. And talking with Coach, I was like, listen, if there's anything that I can do, because I was actually introduced to Coach by my brother Skylar Ray, and anyone who Skylar talks about the way he talked about Coach, his wife Mimi, and the kids, that's all I had to hear. It was like, listen, I'm in, I am in. So I reached out to Coach and we talked. He became a guest on the show, and immediately we became family. And it's such an honor to be part of that. So we've got a lot going on with Coach and the family and the foundation, which we will be doing a show there or show an event there and in August. So we'll have more details as things go on, but there's going to be a lot more going on before August as far as myself and Coach. So that's about it, guys. I've got a lot more work to do as far as doing the show prep for the show tomorrow and on Monday with some of the promos. So I just wanted to pop on real quick, 35 minutes later, say hi, and again, appreciate you a whole bunch. The love support for this family is second to none, and let's just keep it up. We uh, saw some posts from our family members every now and then. We get updates. A lot of them are very positive about people who are doing well in different parts of their life as far as the recovery journey. And every now and then you will see someone who is unfortunately having a rough time. Could be for whatever reason. That's the one thing with addiction, man. It can, those triggers can reach up and grab you when you least expect it. That's why they're triggers. It's something that we really need the love and support with each other when that happens. And with this family, it is such a beautiful thing to see. Obviously, not seeing when people are struggling, but the support when people are. We had a family member who, did the right thing. She came on and basically said, "Listen, everybody, I'm having a very hard time tonight," and pretty much talked to the family the way she should have, just as family, putting her soul out there. This is what's going on, and having a rough time. Within seconds, man, there was post after post. You are not alone. We are here for you. You got this. People were like, "Hey, I'm going to message you right now. Here's my phone number." I mean, like that. So and the people who involved, who you are, who I'm talking about. So thank you guys so much, because this is very serious. We have a lot of fun doing this. Speaking of having a lot of fun, of course, Lori, my southern family in Athens, Alabama. So I always gotta, whenever I see Lori, it's gotta be, making sure that it's the y'all and fixing and bless your heart and all that stuff. And just as well, like I said, I just saw Bud Lee who popped in there. So everybody who's on, thank you. But for Lori, I have to practice my fixing and all that other good stuff, as well as getting ready for my Dubs burger. Um, it's been a while, Lori. I feel like I haven't talked to you in like a long time, and I know it's been a bit, but it just seems a lot longer because I miss you, Lori. Um, Lori is in Athens, Alabama, and she has been doing so much for so many people, not only in Athens, Alabama, but in Alabama and other states and all around the world. And the fight against addiction and the fight against not only fentanyl, mental health issues, everything that goes along with the fight against addiction. And Lori has been doing this for over 9 years. And I am very honored to be part of that event that they are having in June. So we'll be flying to Huntsville and then off to Athens, Alabama in June to be part of that amazing event. And I'm very blessed to be a speaker. And not only that, I get to have lunch with somebody. Um, they're actually having a raffle, and I get to have a one-on-one with whoever that person is at the raffle. So I'm looking forward to that. Just to get when you these different events, sometimes I mean they are great, they are amazing, but what you really don't have a whole lot of time just to have one-on-one time, because there's so many people that you want to talk to or want to talk to you, especially when you're the out of town guy. And here we are going to Athens, Alabama, and we're from Detroit, Michigan, coming to Athens, Alabama, and so there's a lot of questions, a lot of Q&A stuff going on. So just to be able to have that one-on-one contact for a little while, I'm really looking forward to that. So, um, Lori, my daughter is in rehab. Well, you know what? She's in the right place then. Um, I definitely miss you too. And I know you're always busy. And I see my brother Leroy's on there. I know you've been busy with a lot of projects and something very important that you have going on that I know about. And I wish you nothing but the best with that. And hopefully, I know you. had some business last night with exactly that topic. So that being said, I hope you had some very, very positive and amazing news, and things are moving forward in that project for you. And that's to my brother Leroy Ebron, who is part of the Connecticut family. You can check him out at Leroy Ebron's house on YouTube. Show him some loving. And like I said, he's got his hands in a bunch of projects too that could be absolutely huge. Um, and that's his story to tell. So I will not say anything more about that until Leroy does. So whenever you find out that information, Leroy, you are the platform is yours, man. You can announce whatever you want here on this show as well. So just let me know. Um, but Lori, as far as your daughter goes, being in rehab, um, God bless her, and we are definitely sending nothing but the best and positive thoughts and prayers from Detroit, Michigan. And as we all know, it's when you're dealing with what we deal with, when it's ourselves, our family, friends, it's a scary, scary time, a scary place. I can't even tell you how many times we have. Um, she called the first time in a year. She called the first time. Not sure. She called you, or she called for to take herself to rehab. I'm not sure what you mean, Lori. She called first time in a year. Um, but the one thing that we have people who are dealing with either family members who the perfect example is I had our neighbor across the street that I basically grew up with. We moved in when I was in like fourth grade. So I got to know them, and then I actually witnessed their kids being born and watching them grow up. Unfortunately, one of them battled with addiction and unfortunately passed away. And I remember talking with Nancy, the mom, who is basically, they are like my family, my brother and sister. So it was a very tough time. And I remember this was a long time ago when we first started hearing about these issues that her son had. And I remember her saying, about getting that phone call. And then, like I said, we're talking 30 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was, when all this was going on. And I have heard the same story so many times from relatives, loved ones, friends, that they are so afraid of getting that phone call, especially if it's one of two, well, not one of two. The one is the absolute worst you'll ever get. The two, between the two, the one would be your loved one has just been picked up and is now the property of the county or state, prison system, which is a positive thing because they're alive. You know that they're in a safe location at the moment. Um, and then there's that other terrible phone call that we've all heard of somebody getting, saying that their loved one has passed away from an overdose. And it's just I the worst call ever. So well, you know what, Laura, I'm glad that thank God that she reached out and called you. That is a blessing. And as far as being in rehab, thank God she's there, because as we just said, um, we all know people who have gotten that other phone call. So so God bless her. We are definitely sending her nothing but the best from not only here at My Fight or War, but from all of the people, from all of the families that we are associated with. We love her. We love you. And, if there's anything I can do, hit me up, Lori. You know that. Call me anytime. Okay, folks. Well, I'm going to try to save this voice again till tomorrow, because I do have that show. Check us out tomorrow at, I believe it is going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time. Keep an eye out, because it could be 8:30 ish around there, but it's going to be with Jim Leibel on Talk and Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast. Very very, very honored to be a guest on their show. And as you can see, my man up there, my brother Jeremy Ross, will be the guest the following day on My Fight or War. So, all of you guys, have a blessed night. And I love you guys. Lori, I will definitely let OG, I will tell her hello. And to all of you guys, please stay safe. If you need help, if you know someone who needs help, reach out. We're only a phone call away, man. Um, for those of you who are struggling, check the ego at the door, reach out, ask for help. You know what? The alternative is someone getting that dreaded phone call, and we don't wish that on anybody. So, Lori, love you. Can't wait. I'll be seeing you. June's going to be here before you know it, and we'll be getting together, celebrating, and sharing a hug at a Dubs Burger. So, you all have a good night. And for you, Lori, y'all have a good night. I'm fixing to go get me some sleep. And we will chit chat tomorrow. Love you guys. Keep fighting the good fight.